Hey guys, this is Jonathan of Pressure Washing Marketing Pros. I got Kedma with me right now. How you doing?
I'm always great. Life is
Yeah.
good, and I feel very blessed. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, guys, Kedma actually caught me off guard because I said I was doing very well, and she said I always ask why, and I'm like, oh man, I have to really come up with why why I feel good, why I feel blessed, right? But
Yes,
guys, here I'm glad to have her on the podcast right now, guys, because guess what? Kedma is a coach's coach. So she's a coach for Conquer. So plenty of people that we've had on the channel, like Fred, Brandon, she's coached them. She's a
hmm
business funding expert as well. So you've secured over $100 million
yes,
for small businesses as well, right? You own a maid cleaning service business in
correct,
Portland, Oregon,
correct,
that's ran by your VA as
correct.
well.
VAs,
So
yep,
VAs, and guess what? Talking about VAs, you're the head of operations, you're the main integrator over at Ninja VA as well.
correct,
So,
correct.
there's probably plenty more titles I can give you, you know what I mean, Kevna? But
No,
those are the main things that that Kedma is known for, guys. So it's a pleasure to have her here. So
thank you,
yes, thank you once again to have us, or thanks
thank
once
you,
again for being here, Kedma.
thank you. It's a pleasure. Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, here to serve. And really, what I want to make sure for anyone listening is, as they get in, or they're going to listen to this afterwards, what is the one thing I can help them?
Hmm.
Whether I'm in their life or not, if I can channel one thing to serve them, then I've done what I need to do.
Well, that's perfect. That's perfect. So let's get it started because I know you had a tumultuous, you know what I mean, upbringing. And I know that I would
Sure.
definitely want you to talk about that, like your origin story. What got you started in your entrepreneurship journey? Because I think our listeners can definitely, and the viewers can definitely benefit from that and even get motivated by your story in that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll try to be brief. So one of the things,
No,
if
you go
you
ahead and talk. Yeah.
okay, if you
Spotlight's yours.
follow me, you will notice that I wear capes on stage. They're all
Hmm.
custom capes. They have the letter
Hmm.
K.
Hmm.
And when I come on stage, there's a little bit of confusion, Jonathan. People are like, okay, she's got to be a narcissist because who the heck is coming on stage with that? Or they feel it's
Hmm.
gimmicky. So, the first lesson I want to teach people is what you see in front of you may not actually be what is actually truth. So,
Hmm.
you always have to be asking yourself, is your brain lying to you?
Hmm.
90% of the time, our brain is lying to us because our brain is looking for new ways of figuring out something different, strange, quirky, weird, and it
Hmm.
may not have the actual truth. The second thing I want to bring up is I think that there's a lot of things that separate us as humans. We have different ideas of what kind of foods we like, or where we want to live, or how much money we want. But the
Hmm.
one thing that I believe, Jonathan, that brings everyone together, the one thing
Hmm.
I think everyone can agree on
Hmm.
is we all want freedom.
Hmm.
So my story begins at a very young age. I am going to bring you back. I'm going to grab your hand,
Hmm.
Jonathan. We're going back.
Yeah,
We're going
yeah,
back
yeah,
10
yeah.
years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. We're going to go back to where I was 7 years old. Now, at
Hmm.
7, I kind of looked like this. I liked wearing pretty dresses. I had
Hmm.
my dark hair, no lipstick, because we didn't do makeup back then.
Hmm.
But there was two things I knew at age 7. Number one, I knew that somehow the universe or God kind of put me into a family that I would describe more like a horror film.
Hmm.
And the problem when you watch a horror movie is the victims rarely escape.
Hmm.
The second thing I realized is every time I would come from school home, I wanted to escape. I wanted freedom. So what I would do is I would turn on the television and I would watch my favorite show, which was Linda Carter playing Wonder Woman.
Okay.
And one day, Jonathan, as I'm watching this show, now remember, I'm a little girl, I'm only 7, and I'm watching this show, and I had this little epiphany. I heard myself saying, oh my God, what if I'm Wonder Woman?
Hmm.
And then I said, but if I'm Wonder Woman, well, of course the villain is living in my house because you can't be a superhero without a
Hmm.
villain trying to kill you. And then
Hmm.
I said, but if those two things are true, well, of course nobody's coming to save me. I have to save
Hmm.
myself because I am the superhero. That statement in that little girl's mind changed my life, Jonathan. It would take me 10 years to escape. At the age of 18, I entered into a community college in New York. If you're a New Yorker, you know where Long Island is. I was in Long Island trying to better my life, community college. Winter time was very, very cold, January, February. And as I'm sitting there, I get a page from my therapist, Judy, and all it said, Jonathon, was 911, 911, 911. And that was the moment I looked down and I thought, something is wrong. I pick up my books. I run out of the college. I run outside. It's pitch black because it's winter time. It's really, really cold. I did not have a cell phone. We didn't have cell phones back then. I see a payphone to the right. I run to the payphone. I put my money in. I call Judy. She answers. I said, Judy, why did you page me? She said, Kedma, you need to listen to me very carefully. I do not know how he got this number. He is on the way to the college right now. If he finds you, he is going to kill you. Now, who is she referencing? She was referencing my villain. And so I hang up the phone. I go back to the parking lot, but I'm already too late. I see a white vehicle, and I see that vehicle pacing back and forth lane by lane, hunting me down. Now, the problem is I'm the only one in the parking lot. So I say to myself, I'm going to run, but I can't run. So I go into shock, Jonathon, and I literally felt like my legs were a quicksand. I literally felt like I couldn't breathe. And then I heard a voice saying, okay, you have to run. So what did I do? Split second, I literally get on my hands and knees. And I crawl slowly and carefully to try to find my vehicle. I find it. I open the car door. I grab my books. I crawl back to the payphone and I call the person at the time for help. Now, 3 things happened at that moment that changed my life forever. 1, I couldn't go back to the home environment. So a group of friends over the course of a weekend found me my safe haven. I'll tell you what it looked like. It was a basement apartment. You had to go down 15 stairs. It was infested with cockroaches. And I would live there in hiding for 5 years of my life. 5 years. I also did not have any means for a job. So another group of friends got me connected to the hospital there. If you want to fact check it, it was North Shore University Hospital. I walked into the collection department. There was a woman named Patricia. She was short hair, probably in her 40s, chain smoker. And I looked at her. I sat down, Jonathon. I said, Jonathon, I said, this is what I said. I said, Patricia, you do not know who I am, but I am in hiding. I need a job, any job. And she looked right at me. She said, Kedma, we know what's happening. We've already secured a job for you, and we're going to protect your identity. The third thing that happened was the person I was seeing said, write a letter to the college. So I did, wrote a letter to college, told them everything that was going on. And 2 weeks later, they said, Kedma, we want to meet with you. So I go back to the college, go back to the scene of the crime. I go in, I walk into these doors, and I see a room, and there are 15 strangers who had just read my life story. And I said, listen, I've lost everything. I've lost my home, I've lost my family, and I've lost my identity. I said, the only thing I have left to live for is an opportunity for an education. So they said, listen, we have to deliberate. Please go to the secretary's office while we deliberate. Now, what I'm about to tell you and to tell your audience is why I do everything in this world. If you want to know how to motivate someone, if you want to know what moves someone, if you want to get the right team, figure out what motivates them. That's all you need to do. So I walk into the secretary's office and I said to her, can I have a piece of paper and pen? And on that piece of paper and pen, I wrote a negotiation letter to God. Now I'm about to tell you what I wrote. Summarization. Dear God, you have taken everything away from me. I have nothing left to offer the world. I have no gifts to give. I have no experience to share. And I have no education to offer. So I am going to make a deal with you. Here is the deal. If you could somehow create a miracle that will allow me to get an education, then I will spend the rest of my life opening doors to every single person who crosses my path. If you cannot do that for me, then I will accept my fate and I will take my life tonight. And I signed the contract. 2 hours later, I walked back into the committee. This woman stood up and said, Kedma Bashari, I want to walk over and shake your hand and tell you you're getting a full scholarship to this college. That moment has sealed my fate for more than 30 years. So when we talk about freedom, when we talk about intentionality, when we
Hmm.
talk about what can we do for others, that's why
Hmm.
I do what I do. So I'm on the other side. I have a wonderful family. And for the audience who's probably really curious who that person was, I was only able to tell them, the audience, 2 years ago. So I can share it now because he's passed. It was my father. So I'm going to pause now because I know it's pretty intense. But I live a very privileged life. I just want to go back to the first statement. You never know where someone is at just by how they appear.
True.
So I'm going to pass on and we're going to have a lot more conversations. But one of the reasons I do Ninja VA, one of the reasons I build businesses, one of the reasons I serve entrepreneurs is because I am so tied to what it looks like to have no freedom.
Hmm. And Kedma, that is a heartbreaking and heartwarming story at the same time, right? So like, I'm glad that you were able to share that with our audience as well, because it puts into perspective not only like the things that we see as difficulties in life, right?
Mhm.
But also the things that we can also overcome as well, hearing somebody
Exactly.
else's story too. And so, as I said, I think the biggest thing that it gives me, even hearing your story about that, is it gives me perspective on day to day, like what are the true issues that we have in life, right? What are the true things
Yes.
that we get stressed out about? Like a lot of it's blessings, because a lot of people will be like, "Oh man, I got 8 quotes to give out today," and they're so stressed, and they're like, "Look at that!" It's like it's a blessing to have that. You know what I mean? It's a blessing to
Blessing.
even, you know what I mean? It's a best. I know some people won't agree with this, but it's a blessing to even be slow in business, because it's like at least you have a business. You know what I mean? In that sense, right?
Exactly.
There's there's all these different things, and so I think that that allowed you to go ahead and say the ultimate thing that we both talked about before we started recording this was what you need to have a purpose for what you're doing, and that
100%.
purpose, no matter what happens, you know what I mean, especially from your story that you talked about right now, no matter what happens when it comes to that purpose at that point, it's always going to guide you, lead you, and no matter what happens, as long as you know what your purpose is, then you'll be able to withstand a lot of or endure a lot of things. And I think that a lot of
Exactly.
people don't have that endurance, or they don't have that purpose sometimes, but life
100%.
gave you that immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. And to
Yeah.
your point, one comment is we abuse time. We abuse time. Do you know how
Hmm.
many times? Listen, I have worked with tens of thousands of business owners. Do you know how many times I've heard a business owner say, "I have no time"? If you're listening to this or watching this and you say, "I have no time," I'm going to call you out on it. I have no time. Or they'll say something like this: "I don't even have 5 minutes." Or
No,
they'll say,
that's yeah.
right? Or
Yeah.
5 minutes. 5 minutes is not enough time, right? It's all about the abuse of time. And this is what I love to tell them. I go, 5 minutes is a lot of time. So if I threw you, Jonathon, right now into the ocean with a bunch of sharks, okay, badass sharks who are hungry, who
Uh-huh.
purposely have not fed them, and I threw you there, do you think 5 minutes is a long time
Yeah.
or a short time?
Long time. I'd be gone in 15 seconds, if that. You know what I mean? So even 30 seconds is a long time, because guess what? Just like you said, time can be subjective
Time
depending
can
on
be
what you're
subjective.
doing,
Exactly.
right? So
Yes.
yeah, I like that. And then let's segue right now, because you talked about that, because you are the coach's coach.
Yes.
Like you coach people in
Thousands.
Conquer, thousands of people
Conquer
in
and
that
then
sense.
House Call Pro, and yes, thousands and
Yes.
thousands and thousands. Yes.
Yes. And so my first question to you is going to be like, going back to your story with that, but how'd you get started being an entrepreneur? Because I know you got your education at
Oh
that
yeah.
point. So
Yeah,
so
sure.
you know, tell us about the entrepreneurial thing, because I know that,
I
like I
live and breathe in economic development. So for people who don't understand, economic development is really the knowledge of how do we create economic impact, meaning high vitality economic opportunity. And it's typically
mm-hmm,
at the job level, right? And
mm-hmm,
so I began studying that at a very, very young age. So at age 20, well, young for me, age 25, I got my first break in Arizona. I was heading up under Small Business Administration because if you want to do some fact check, really SBA handles all of the business in the entire, United States. And I was heading up the Women's Business Center for Arizona, which is helping women with business development. From there, I went into helping people with disabilities because I have two kids who are autistic. Love serving the disability community, including veterans. So if you're listening and you're a veteran, service disabled veteran, I was a consultant for the VA for almost 15 years. So they have an entire program for service disabled veterans. And then met my husband on the internet, Jonathan.
Oh,
And he lived in Oregon. And so welcome to Oregon. So I moved myself to Oregon, started leading the business center for women in Oregon, got into Native American business development. We've got any Native Americans there. I worked in Indian country. I then also launched the Inventors Program, nonprofit organization helping inventors. So if you are into patents and trademarks, licensing, I'm your gal because I spent years and worked with one of the sharks. And then I
okay.
got picked up by the Small Business Development Center and I was innovation director for one of the colleges. Built out 4 programs. I built out cybersecurity because the threats made me frustrated. So I built that out.
Uh-huh.
Youth entrepreneurship, innovation, and then franchising. So I come from the franchise space. And
Okay.
so, and then Brandon Vaughn wooed me because I was there hanging out, helped him build his company from 2 employees to 70. He stole his cleaning company. He's like, "Hey, I'm starting a company called Conquer. I'd like you to come on." I'm like, "Why? I got a good life. I got my pension. I'm running the college for business. I love it. Like, what can you offer me that I don't already have?"
Hmm.
And then he said something I'll never forget. He said, "You do have all of that, but the problem with all you have, you don't have time to go see your kids playing soccer because you have to go to the office every day."
Hmm.
And I go, "Damn, you got me." And that's how I joined Conquer. So we joined Conquer, and in 3 years, we got acquired by House Call Pro. And it's been a privilege to serve House Call Pro as the coach's coach. And then from there, Brandon Lazar took me. And that's how I joined Ninja VA. So it's been a
Yeah.
wonderful journey.
That is awesome, and thank you for sharing all of that. So let's talk about the thing that you're doing right now. You
Yeah.
know what I mean, and what we're going to talk about, because I know we talked about time, and I also
Yes.
know that we talked. I also know that we talked about, that we were talking about earlier about delegation and different tasks like
Delegation.
that.
Mhm.
So just for, and you also run, like I said, Superb
I
Maids,
run
right?
a cleaning company, correct.
So even with that, like, how can like that first hire, like, so you have a VA. I mean, I think most people, if they say like a VA runs your entire cleaning company, they'd
Yep.
be like, BS. Can
Okay.
you tell us a
We
little bit
can we
about
can
that?
fact
Like,
check that.
yeah. Break it down. Break
Let's
it
break
down
it
for us
down.
about how you have a VA, because before you break it down, a lot of guys will say like, "Oh, Jonathan, like you said, I don't have enough time. I can get off the truck.
I get it.
I can't do a lot of these things." And I say, guys, like, they're like, or I can't afford really good help that could be local. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? And I say, well, it's a global marketplace. At least I say that it's a global marketplace
Me
now.
too.
So, but you can attest to that. So can you tell us about how you have a VA running your maid service
Yes.
company right now?
Yes. And first of all, I'm old school. My first VA I got 18 years ago. After I read the book Tim Ferriss' 4 Hour Work Week, I had a 2-year-old. He had just been diagnosed with autism. I was running my company, Avita, and I thought, is it possible that I could find? Now, 18 years ago, I don't even think you
Yeah.
were born 18 years ago, Jonathan. 18
I
years
was,
ago. And so, is it possible? I went online and I found my first VA. His name was Enoch out of India. Jonathan, Enoch still works for me. You want to ever
18
interview
years.
Enoch? 18 years. I don't know how he deals with me because I'm
That's
like
longer
a
than
New
most
Yorker.
marriages.
Yeah,
That's longer than most marriages.
that is next level.
Yeah. So,
Enoch still works for me. So
mhm.
I am a trender, like I see things way before it happens. So here's what happened. 2 years ago, I got bored and I
Mhm.
thought, let me start a home service company. So I went out to all the coaches. I'm like, I want to start a home service company. You know what they said to me? Are you
What?
nuts? What are you, crazy? You got such a good life. Why do you want to go in the home service business? You don't want to deal with all the problems. And it was
Hmm.
constantly, and I thought, you know what? I want to do cleaning. Then I got hit up again. Oh, the average ticket is not there. Everybody's not going to show up. You can't even find good employees. I mean, my goodness, I couldn't, even in my circle, this is the feedback I was getting. But you
Yeah.
know what? I don't listen to too many people. Even my husband says, you don't listen to me. I take advice, but I never listen. So I
Yeah.
started a cleaning company. Now, let me tell everybody here. First few weeks, I cleaned. Why? Because I got to know what my team's going to do. I cleaned. Now, here's where you need to know how well you are at your job. I was a terrible cleaner. Terrible. One of the things I still wake up with nightmares was a house. It was an accountant's house, and I was doing bleach on the toilet, but I put the bleach all over the seat and all over the top. And then I forgot about it. I went back an hour later. Dude, there was almost no toilet left. That thing bleached right through. And I was like, okay, I knew then I'm just not right for the job. So what did I do next? I got a director of operations. Her name is Serena. She's been doing cleaning and running a business 17 years. What am I going to do up against her? So one of
Hmm.
the things I want to teach you guys is always hire people smarter than you. You're not that smart. You may be
Hmm.
smart in one area, but usually not smart in all areas. So then I hired her, and she was responsible for what? Building out the technicians. I didn't need to do the hiring. She could do the hiring. And then the next thing that your crew is going to say is, oh man, I can't afford them. You can afford them.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Don't be
Yeah.
going there. Listen, I'm a New Yorker straight up, like Bronx, New York. I'll take people down on this. This is false information. It does not have to be expensive. You can do a flat rate plus bonus for everything they bring in. There's a lot of ways you can do it. There's a lot of ways you can do it. And then I hyper focused on my operational team. And how did I figure it out? I looked at every aspect of what a VA could do by figuring out what they can't do. That's how I did it. I said, okay, what can a VA not be able to do? Well, they can't clean and they can't fly to Oregon, but everything else they can do.
They can do. Yeah.
That's right. That's how I figured it out. So what are my teams doing? Man, this will blow you away. We don't hire a marketing agency in Superb Maids. Why? Because my team is the marketing agency. Yesterday, literally my team was doing SEO work. Like SEO work. They are figuring out where our keywords are, where we need to stand. They do virtual estimates. That's right, virtual estimates. Before it goes to my director of operations, they're already figuring out what that person is. They're doing blogging, they're doing websites. They are the ones developing the AI chat. So if you go on to Superb Maids Portland right now, you're going to meet Mrs. Tidy Talk. She's our badass chat person that anything you say, if you go on and you go, man, I got a 2 bedroom, 2 bath, but I have a pet alligator. Can you service us? She'll be like, well, you're going to have to put the pet alligator somewhere else, but we can be happy to go there. That was built for my team.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, and they do sales. And they do sales.
How many days do you currently have right now on the
Right now, I have, for my own personal use, outside Ninja VA, we have hundreds, but for my own personal use, we have 3 VAs. Because remember, we're
Mhm.
only 2 years young, so we're still
Mhm.
a baby. And we've got 80 reviews, 5-star reviews under our belt. But everything you see behind the scenes, outside of the director of operation, who is on the ground training, and the
Mhm.
technicians doing the work, everything else is done by our VAs.
Okay. Yeah, shout out to Enoch then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Enoch.
So,
And then Floor, she's awesome. Sarah, she's awesome. Yeah, these are and they're all skilled in different levels.
you know, and I like what you said, even though I do run a marketing company, the biggest thing that I like what you said is that you still took it in-house because, I think that that's where a lot of people look at things is like leveraging your time. You know what I
Yep.
mean in that sense? And so like if you can get a team of VAs, whatever it may be, to work just solely on your business, that
Mhm.
could be that could be a benefit, right? For that, or just even, you know, looking at some of the stuff that you're doing already right now and stuff that can be outsourced, just like you
And
said right
then
now. So
Yeah, let me
Go on.
be specific on that just so I can honor that because we still work with marketing teams. But like some of the things we're doing, I asked a marketing agency, what would you charge us? They say, oh, easily 4,000 a month. I don't have 4,000 a month.
Yeah.
I don't have 4,000 a month, right? So what we then do is we contract in specializations. So I'll work with someone who's like right now, we're working on hiring someone who specializes in Reddit because we're crushing it in Reddit, but we need someone who's hyper, not just marketing, but are you a hyper focus on Reddit? Great. Are you hyper focused on Nextdoor? We want to talk to you. Are you hyper focused on TikTok? That allows me to work with people like you that can be the specialist that can help our VAs because they don't have all of it, but they can
Hmm.
handle most of it.
Hmm. And that's funny that you're not funny, but that's actually very smart that you're handling the Reddit stuff because even with the advent of AI, right, in the addition of AI into how customers are
Exactly.
searching, and this is a side note, but what has AI favored? They favored review sites like review aggregator sites, Bird's Eye,
Exactly.
all of that, and Reddit. They always refer to Reddit, and why do they refer to Reddit? Because as we get more into this age of AI, they know that Reddit is what generated by users, it's filtered, it's verified. So whenever people are like, who's the best, maid service in Portland, whatever it may be, right? Or like,
Yes.
have you guys used any maid services in Portland? And they're like, oh, we've used Superb Maids, whatever.
Exactly.
AI can easily get that context immediately, you know what I mean? And be like, well, Superb
100%.
Maids, like these five people said Superb Maids was really good. And so that they can have that vote of confidence that they know, even AI knows that Google could be gamified a little bit, right?
A
But they
hundred
know for
percent.
Reddit, it can't necessarily be gamified as much because people, the people have the word there. It can't necessarily be, faked in that
Mhm.
sense. So yeah, that's actually pretty awesome that and that you're optimizing for that. As a side note, you know what I mean? That's a side note.
Yeah, well, and if you allow me to share, I don't know, but I want to just share to do proof in the pudding. Am
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
allowed to
yeah, yeah,
quickly
yeah,
share?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know if
Let
it'll
me.
let me.
Yes,
Um,
I'll allow you right there. So go ahead
okay,
and share
so
again.
I'm going to show
Go
you
ahead and share again.
yeah, I'm going to show you some confidential cool stuff just to prove my point because I'm a chess player. So if I'm going to play
Okay.
chess, I'm already steps ahead of the game. So
Yeah, yeah, perfect.
so let me show you show you my chess game. So this is an example of what our virtual assistant team is doing. This is thank you to Floor. This is an example of something I reviewed. Now, how much time am I spending in my business? 2 hours a week. 1 hour for BNI, for relationship, 1 hour for my team to give me my reports. This is something they just did. So you can see here, they identified the house cleaning services near me, the service areas, estimated monthly searches, where we are in competition, our average rank, who the top competitor that owns that's hitting it up, competitor rank, the traffic, and then what we need to do it. This is next level stuff that my
Hmm.
team is doing. So that what happens is then we go back and we're like, okay, we got to maintain reviews. That's where we got to do the backlinks, or we got to add it. Like right now, the team is building a deep clean landing page. So we can
Hmm.
certainly use AI. But once we get that data, that's why we AI power our virtual assistants. Once they got that,
Bingo.
bingo, they go to work. Because sometimes people say to me, oh man, AI is going to replace people. Dude, listen, if you find an AI to try to replace me, let me find that person. It's not going to happen. AI can, because I'm always thinking ahead. Someone said to me the other day, man, that's a good idea. Did you get it from AI? I said, no, came from Kedma's brain, not from AI. Okay. So
Yeah.
this is the kind of stuff when you're saying, what can they do? They can do a ton. They can do data reporting. They can do analytics. They can do phone calls. And then they work with experts like you, Jonathan,
Hmm.
right? So
No, you're right.
everybody wins.
No, bingo. And like I said, I think that you hit it on the head too about AI because I think a lot of people are scared of AI replacing even in the marketing world. Like, people get scared, but I really think that it's just going to be like weapons in that sense, right? It's going to just be like you're equipped with
Exactly.
better weapons. You're equipped with better weapons, and so therefore it makes the game of business. I wouldn't say harder, but it makes it more,
Yeah,
it makes it more competitive at that point because now we have like AI systems, all of that. So it's going to be who has the best systems, who has the best efficiencies at this point, who's
exactly.
leveraging their time, the best, who has the employees that are maximizing AI as much as they can possible, and who doesn't, right? So I
Exactly.
don't think it's replacing us because at the same time, as you said, they don't have AI doesn't have the actual boots on the ground experience that you do. You know, if you were to tell somebody like an exterior cleaning company, because I know you worked with a lot of
Yeah.
exterior cleaning
Yep.
companies with different things like that, or just even in any home service business with that
Sure.
kind of stuff, what would be like the first thing that you would say, like, okay, I'm one man on the truck right now,
Yep.
and I want to get off the truck right now. What's the first hire that they can
So
make
the
with the
first thing
VA
I would
and
say
that you would
is,
recommend?
yep,
They would
and
have.
we can do it. We can do it at no cost, just to kind of inventory. The first thing I would say is we have to manage where you're spending your time. If
Mm-hmm,
you're on the truck, you're building your business. You should not be built. You should be at least $100 an hour. At least $100 an hour. I bill
mm-hmm.
myself at $300 an hour. I don't want to, some people say, oh, I'm
Yeah,
3,000. Like that's a little, okay, hello. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
I try to be straight up, like $300 an hour, but you should be at $100 an hour. Now the problem is we then got to look at all your tasks. If you're doing any task that's under $15 an hour, you are doing a poor use of your time. It's not that you can't do it. It's that if you do that, then someone else, no one else can do what you can do better, right? So
mm-hmm,
my genius zone with my own cleaning company, I don't do anything but relationship building.
mm-hmm,
So at night, I'm taking people out to dinner because it's cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Like, listen, I mean, I know where the money is, right? The money is in the relationship. So I met yesterday with someone who's a construction company. We go, we have dinner, we have drinks. Next thing he knows, I've been using with this other cleaning company, but I kind of like what you're doing.
mm-hmm,
Okay. That's where my genius zone is. So the first thing we need to do is let's audit the time. Then we figure out what the task is worth. And then I say, look, you don't have to jump in with cold feet all at once. You don't even have to do full time. You could do part time. So let's say we set a number of $10 an hour. Let's say that virtual assistant, whether it's in Mexico, because we do Mexico and South America, we also do Philippines. Let's say we set it at $10 an hour, and you do 20 hours a week. So for $800, which is typically how much is our average ticket is $250. Our average customer is twice a month, so that's a $500, 500 a
mm-hmm,
month. So that's 1.5 deals. If I can't get 1.5 deals for 80 hours, I should not be in business.
mm-hmm,
Okay? It's that simple. It's that
mm-hmm.
simple. And then you have to make sure that wherever you work, whether it's our agency or somewhere else, test and measure, test and measure. If you look at Ninja VA, we have screenshots every 3 minutes, Jonathon. We're checking in. Now, we don't want to like micromanage, but we know exactly what someone's working on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we coach them up. So what I'm doing right now, we actually coach business owners at no cost.
Mm-hmm.
And then we coach the VAs at no cost. So, to me, if that one person wants to know, I'm on the truck, I want to get off the truck, I'm tired, my wife's mad at me, my kids don't know who I am, figure out how many hours is under $15 and outsource that so you can get off the truck.
Mm-hmm. And
That's what I
as a
would say.
coach, what do you think? What do you think is the biggest impediment from guys? Because I'll say this for two types of businesses. What do you think? What do you think stops guys from getting like 250,000 a year, right? In that sense, because even though for me, I know that like I know we can all
Sure,
grade here, but like
sure,
for me, I
sure.
have my own opinion about that. But I feel like once you hit that spot, most guys hit like that 200 in the exterior cleaning industry at least. Once they hit the
Yeah.
$250,000 a year spot revenue wise, they're gonna. I call it that zone that they just get stuck at because unless you hire, you get somewhere else. So just doing your
Right.
coaching, what do you think have been like one of the like 1 to 3 things that you've seen that just keep people stuck at a
Well,
certain
let
revenue
me say
level?
the first one. And this is a quick lesson I learned from one of my mentors. The first is ego. So when I started my career at the Women's Business Center in Arizona, I came in one day and there was a woman, Roz Boxer. Roz Boxer was heading up economic development for Arizona. Amazing woman. Short
Mm-hmm.
woman. She was like, I'm 5'7". She was like 4 foot, I don't know. She was tiny, 4'10".
Uh-huh.
And I came in one day and I said, man, Roz, I'm so mad. She said, what's up? She's like, man, I was talking to the mayor and the mayor was so arrogant. He didn't have his facts. I had my facts. Why? Because I'm calculated. I got this fact and that fact and that fact, and I was right. Now, I was young back then. I was 25. And Roz is listening to me. And she said, Kedma, I'm going to offer you an option in life. And based on that option, it will determine what your life will look like. I said, okay, what is it, Roz? She said, well, do you want to be right in life or do you want to make a lot of money? And at the time, man, I was like paycheck to paycheck, living in this apartment. And I was like, there was a moment I thought, oh, I want to be right. And I go, I want to make a lot of money, boss. And she goes, then let go of the ego.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't always know what's right.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I would say is check their ego and whatever they're thinking, like, oh, it's not going to work. Oh, I tried this. Oh, this, whatever that attitude is, the first thing I'm going to tell people is, how's that working for you?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people out there talking, right? People always talk to me, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm like, great, show me your bank account.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, they don't want to talk to me anymore, right? So ego first, get rid
Mm-hmm.
of it. Realize that someone out there cares about you and wants you to be successful. Because when you make it to the top, whatever that top means for you. So for me, I feel like I've arrived. It's boring at the top. I want other people playing at the top. I
Mm-hmm.
want people traveling like I do at the top. So get rid of ego. The second, make sure you get the right counsel. You know how many players are out there and all they're doing is playing you up to be wrong. They're throwing all this hype. They're showing all your things. I have people who are like, hey, let me show you that I'm on like Delta One and I'm at all these lounges. I could care less. You know what I show people? Hey, I'm on Spirit Airlines. It's doing great for me because my money's in the bank making a lot of money and I'm investing in different ways, right? So make sure whoever you're following that that they have the life you want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the third thing
That's
is,
important.
hey,
That's important that you just said that,
it's
because
true.
there's some people like that go on YouTube, and there's guys that are preaching
Oh,
like, hey, I'm just on the truck, and I'm just going to teach you how to just be a one man on the truck, earn $250,000. There's some guys that say, I'm going to teach you how to have a 7-figure business. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
a exterior cleaning business. I'm going to teach you how to have a 6-figure,
exactly.
exterior cleaning business. So I think that, and I'm sorry to
No,
interrupt you on that,
please,
but
please.
I think that's very important about that. Like you have to model who you want to be after,
Who
because
do
some
you
people will
want to
say,
be?
well, this guy says this. What's like, well, does this guy embody how you want to live your life? If it's
Thank
not,
you.
then you can take bits and pieces of what they say. But if this person embody, like, and no
There you
person
go.
gonna embody
Amen.
like
Amen.
90% of, yeah, exactly. And no person's gonna do 100%. But if this person does at least 80% of how you want to live, that's who you should listen to. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
That's it. Like I spent 3 weeks in Koh Samui, Thailand this year. You know how often my team checked in with me? Zero. Zero. Now, I'm not the fancy one. I don't got the airplanes. People know that I shop on Amazon. I like it. I could do local, but most of the time I can't be bothered. So it's either Shein or Amazon. I don't do anything else, right? But that's it. Like I'm the Shein girl. I don't do Temu because last time I ordered on Temu, I ordered paper towels and it came the size of my dollhouse. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
Temu, you're out. And I can't do Temu.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the point is, like, I like to be real. My husband always says, listen, I know you were born in the Bronx, but you kind of act gangster sometimes. I'm like, I am. I just
Uh-huh,
got some degrees behind it, right? But I'm still that kind
uh-huh.
of person. So what I'm saying
Hmm.
is follow people that you want to be proud to be around. Okay.
Hmm.
And the third thing, don't do things alone. Don't do
Hmm.
things alone. So many of us have been jaded. Look, I've been jaded. I've had people steal from me. I've had people betray me. I've had people do me wrong. But if I turn around and say I'm never going to trust anyone again, they win. They win. I don't win. So
Hmm.
we've all been in a place where we have scars. Don't let that prevent you from being in a community. You don't even have to hang out with me. Hang out with Jonathon. Dude is doing the right thing. Be like,
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with Kedma, kind of wearing those capes, all in my face about going to Thailand. I want to be in the truck. Great. Do you. But if you're going to do you, don't complain.
Bingo. Bingo. And that's
Bingo.
and that's and that's the
Don't
big and that's the
complain.
biggest thing. Exactly. And that's what I tell clients. And of course, I ascribe to a different narrative than what some people do. Where I know some people say like, "Oh, it's fine to be on the truck." I don't say it's fine to be on the truck and to be one man and to be a one man person because I've had two clients in the last 3 to 4 years that had to actually get out of the business because they were one man bands in a truck, whether they broke their knee, you know what I mean? Like
Of
literally
course. Of
broke their knee, and
course.
then another person like broke both their legs, right? Or like broke
Ouch.
their feet.
Oh,
They broke and so now their feet are kind of messed up, and they can never like walk on roofs. They can never like stand.
sorry.
They can never stand for more than like 2 hours or something like that. So it's like you were only the person doing the job at that point. So what happens, like, you know what
Yeah,
I mean? What happens to your
of
business
course.
or whatever? So it's like it's inevitable that you have to grow. I tell
You
our
have to
clients this all
go.
the time. It's inevitable in that sense. It's
Well,
inevitable.
or or not. I met with someone yesterday. He's a contractor, really
Uh
nice
huh.
guy, and he's in his own suffering. I told him everything he should do. He's like, no, I'll still do it. I go, how's it working for you? Because I don't have any jobs. I was like, well, listen, the thing about, I said, the thing about me you'll appreciate is I'm not going to save you. So listen, we'll sit here in your misery. I'll observe it. I'll support that you want to stay there. But listen, the key's on the inside, dude. Like
Mhm.
I'm telling you the pathway. And this is what I say. If you're going to be in there and you refuse to get guidance, just acknowledge it. You know,
Mhm.
like I'll acknowledge your misery, right? And
Mhm.
I'm a little tough. I'm a little tough. Why? Because I didn't have choice, Jonathan. I
Mhm.
didn't have choice.
Mhm.
Everything I have today was built from sheer resilience.
Mhm.
And I hate watching people suffer, but some people want to suffer.
Yeah, and some people do. It's funny because I know a lot of people know Alex Ramosi. He was talking about he had a short, right, and he was talking about one of his gym trainers to where he promoted them to a manager. And
Hmm.
then when he promoted that person to a manager, that person was like, after they did the job and they made twice as much money, he's like, dude, honestly, I want to go back to being just like a personal trainer instead of just a manager. He's like, dude, you know that you'll make twice as less. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, I'd rather be poor, you know? And he's like, at that
Exactly.
moment, he realized with the guy, he's like, I will never be able to understand that, but that guy's happy. You know what I mean? And that's like,
And that's
accept it, like
truth.
accept where you're going to be at, because some people, you know, because I'm going to ask you about employees in a minute, but this is the thing that I like to hop around too with people is they say like, I want to be the top of my city. So where are you going to make the sacrifices to be the top in your city?
No,
That means that like some of our clients, I see they're on vacation, which is not wrong to go on vacation. But I'm saying if you want to truly be tops in your city, like to where like
no,
unequivocally nobody is messing with you, that means you may have to sacrifice some vacations just because you're like, hey, I got to build
exactly.
out this team thing, or I got to do this, that, and the other, right? You may not.
Exactly.
So you have to have balancing costs in that sense, right?
You have to
And
have
so those are
balancing
things.
costs. Hmm.
Yeah. So those are things. Now, one thing I want to ask you, Kedma, I know that we're kind of going. One thing I want to ask you is that like, what are the like most important qualities that you look for in a VA in that sense? Like, you know what I mean,
Love
or a
that.
person
Yeah.
like, you know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, the virtual assistants we work with, they really are looking for a career. And the
Mm-hmm.
cool thing is that when we're working with them, that's our job. We work with hundreds of business owners. And so we get assigned to Jonathan, they're building their career. But if you decide, hey, the project is over, or I'm moving a different direction, or I need someone more specialized, you can send them back and they go into the pool for another person. Because
Uh huh.
just like employees in America, there's a wonderful study if you want to look at. They do an analysis every year. 250,000 people quit their job last year. And most people think they quit because of money. And other people think they quit because of management. It's actually not true. The number one reason people leave companies, you know what the answer is?
I don't know because I was gonna say leader,
Nope. It's
but
not
no,
leader.
but
It's
but
not,
but
it's
but
not
go.
management and it's not money. It's going to blow you away. They don't see a career path to get them to
Okay.
where they want to go. Now think about your technician. You
Ashley.
bring, that's right.
Ashley's, yeah.
That's right. You bring in a technician, you get them all dialed up, and then all of a sudden they leave. Why? They don't see a career path. So even in Superb Maids, day one, we set up a career path. We say, hey, you want to come in? You can start a technician, you can move into lead, you can move to supervisor, you can move to manager, and you want to own the business? Great. We have a pathway that way too, because I'm not going to have you compete with me. You want to play in the game? I'll tell you the
Hmm.
cash it is to play in my game. And so that's what they want. Goes back to freedom. So what do I look
Hmm.
for? I look for character first. Do they have discipline? Do they have creativity? This is where we get a problem with ChatGPT, because ChatGPT right now, guys, do the research. There are studies coming out at universities. If you're addicted to ChatGPT, you will run the risk of what we call digital dementia. It is really operating like dementia, where your brain will forget how to be creative because you've passed that muscle to ChatGPT.
You
Got to
know
be,
what, Kedma?
yeah.
You know what, Kedma? The thing that I like is that like right now, I'm gonna let you go because
No, I'm
you are
enjoying
no
it.
no 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 no
Yeah.
no no not let you go. I'm saying I'm gonna let you continue what you were
Oh,
saying.
okay,
Like
okay.
I'm gonna let
Yeah,
you go continue to say what you're saying. You know what I mean? But what I was gonna say is about the ChatGPT brain thing.
yes.
Is that I want to tell business owners right now that because they'll say, oh, these new kids. I'm like this because I'll be 31 on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
And the thing
Happy
about it,
birthday. You're a
even
Leo like me.
thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
Leo gang got here. So biggest thing about this, Kedma, is that I say like right now we're in that perfect time period, whether you're
Yep.
even older than what I am, because we actually when we first started, we didn't have ChatGPT.
Of course.
We couldn't we had to actually think. So now we actually are more effective with ChatGPT now because we actually had to learn how to think. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like you have to learn
Right.
how to strategize with certain
Right.
things. So now, trust me, I do use ChatGPT every single day. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, it won't be able to replace me because I have my own kind of thoughts and patterns that I've
Exactly.
built from that.
Exactly.
That like the company that I tell guys, like think about an exterior cleaning company that's coming in 8 years from now, or even
Yep.
5 years from now. They're not gonna have. They don't know what life was like without AI or any of this other kind of stuff. So guess
Exactly.
what? They're not going to have that same kind of knowledge as you're going to have. So I tell
That's
people
right.
that all the time. We talk about the chat
100%.
GPT dementia. You know what I mean? I'm like, we're
Yeah.
in the perfect time. We learned how
Perfect
to think
time.
because people 10 years from now, they're going to be like, I could get the answer immediately. And they didn't have to think, you know?
Right. Right. And you want both. So we want that. We want
So,
discipline.
and
We
so you
want
said
creativity.
character. So you
Yep.
said
Character.
character, creativity. Okay,
Create.
go.
Yeah.
And
So
then go.
discipline, creativity, meaning like,
Uh-huh.
and then the ability to problem solve. Because one of the, we,
Mm-hmm.
man, this is so awesome, Jonathan. And in fact, I'll send you a taping. We just had our VA, we do two sessions. We just had our VA training today. And
Mm-hmm.
business owners are not invited. So don't be coming in. You're not invited. The
Yeah.
first thing I said to the VAs is I go, hey, I'm going to let you in on a secret. Probably nobody's ever told you this, but ready? Business owners don't know everything.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, they don't know what they're doing.
And I
You
feel
come to
like,
them,
go on.
you come to them like, boss, what did I do? They don't know. Stop asking them. You got to problem solve. So here's what my VAs are trained to do. Don't come to me with a problem unless you have three solutions to that problem.
Bingo.
Don't
Bingo.
come to me with a problem. I'm like,
Bingo.
what? And heaven forbid, I had one VA say to me this week that they had a time management issue. And I said, who's managing your time? Then they're like, oh boy, I shouldn't have said that to coach. I said, who's managing your time? She goes, I'm managing my time. I said, and what is the next question you should say? I'm going to fix my time. I said, exactly. Because I'm not
Yeah.
managing it. Right.
Yeah.
So problem solving. And then the
Mm-hmm.
last one I'm going to tell you, joyful conversations. I cannot stand toxic cultures. And here's the sad thing. I don't care if you're doing 50,000, 500,000, 5 million, or 50 million. I have worked with thousands and thousands of businesses, and I was a turnaround consultant for the state of Oregon. And turnaround consultant means I was deployed by the state to go out to companies that were in the process of going out of business because of toxic culture. So I don't operate that way. Like there is no toxic culture in my company. It goes right to the top. I'm like, you hear a whisper? You come talk to me. Let's have a conversation. What's going down?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to own that. So that's for the VAs, but I think the same applies for the pros. Like you got someone who's toxic right now. Why are they there? Well, it's my brother. Well, you can fire your brother. Still have him come for Thanksgiving, but you don't
Yeah.
want to call, toxic. So those would be my four.
Mm-hmm. No, and you're right, and I like that a lot, especially the creativity and the problem solving ability. Because even for
Amen.
us, we we employ VAs on our team as well, right? That
Yep.
and that are able to go ahead and do a lot of things. And I'm like, man, like I didn't think that they were capable of. Like one of our positions right now that I was trying to hire here in the
Yeah.
States, but I actually got in the Philippines because I actually had internally I'd internally promoted them, but they're in charge of all of our automations now in that sense, right? And we pay them a lot of money. Like in the Philippines, they'd be like a millionaire basically. But he
Yes.
saved us so much time, you know what I mean? And what we're doing in that sense and all these inefficiencies and all of that, that like his role is literally just anything dealing with high level in our business or anything dealing with just like automations, like there's NAN out there, there's Make, there's Zapier, whatever it may be, right? But he's dealing
Yeah.
with all those workflows and automating all of our processes that we have. And so that's been a blessing. And guess what? When I delegate to him, and I always tell like the people that are on my team, especially when they're VAs like that, I always say there's three levels of delegation. Like I got to tell you every single thing, when
Oh,
it's due, all of that, right? It's like you're not going to get compensated as much if
no.
I have to do that because I'm just basically just you're an order taker at that point, right?
Yes.
You're an order taker. The second is going to be people to where they can follow an SOP, they can follow a
Yeah.
system. You know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, if it breaks from that, it's like,
They're coming to
they
you.
don't know where to go. They're coming to me. Then there's a third where it's like, I can just tell them like, hey, this is what I want. I don't have to have an SOP for it. I can say, hey, this is what I
Mm,
want. And those people, guess what? Like how he is, it's like, he's gonna have it come to life. He's gonna know that time period because, like you said, internal values, the character, right, the creativity in that
love
kind of
that.
sense, that discipline that they're gonna go ahead and have. And so one thing that I want to ask you when we're talking about that is like, what's the number one thing that you see people when they like mismanage like VAs? Like, what's one misconception that people have about VAs? Because I know, look, you're already like this, so I already know. Trust me, I already know some of these. But what's you don't have to name one thing, but like, what are some
Well, I
things
think
that you
the
see?
first thing is they feel like the VA doesn't understand what the project is. And I always like to say, show me the training program or process you gave them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I verbally told them to do it. I'm like, what makes you think people learn through audio? I don't learn through audio. When my team comes to me and says, hey, coach, what about this? What about this? You know what I go? I go, yep, yes, yes, yes. And then as soon as we're done, I go, now send it all to me in writing because whatever I said is not true. And they know this. That's why they don't even ask me because unless it's in writing,
Mm-hmm.
a decision is not made for me because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not audio. I'm not audio. I have to see it and I have to read it and I
Mm-hmm.
have to look at it before I respond. So the first thing is the information correct? The second is, do you think they're a unicorn? Because they're still a human as far as I'm concerned. So are you throwing 17 million tasks because you haven't done your business right? Right. Come
Mm-hmm.
on now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's be realistic here. We are skilled in certain areas. Some people are really skilled at sales. Some people are really skilled at finance. Some are really skilled in operation. You can't have someone to do all things great. So that's why I split it. I have VAs who do marketing. I have VAs who do ops. I have VAs who do data.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because I'm channeling their best knowledge. And I think the third thing is we don't give it enough time. We treat VAs like it's a microwave we're putting in for pizza. But like,
Mm-hmm.
teet, 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 man, that's been 30 seconds. The heck is going
Yeah.
on here? I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, 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 how long did it take you to learn your trade? Well, I'm still
Yeah.
20 years later. Okay, can we give a little time here? We can give 90 days.
Bingo. And
So
I even have to tell myself that sometimes with some of the people that I have. And I'm just like, you know what, Jonathan, temper it down. You've been doing this
remember,
for
calm
the last,
down.
yeah, I have all the context and I've been doing this for 5 to 6 years. So it's like at this point,
Well,
I'm
listen,
like,
you're
you
a
know what?
Leo. So now that I
Yeah.
know that, if we're placing anyone on there, you'd be in big letters. Leo, Leo, Leo. I know how Leos are. You are a driver.
Yeah.
You're the eye, you're out there, you're brand like, don't be embarrassing me. Get
Yeah.
things done. And I don't want to tell you
Hmm.
twice, right? So that's the other thing. We try to match best personalities as well.
Bingo. Because one thing that I've realized, because we have people here in the United States, we have people in South Africa, we have
Yeah.
people in South America, we have people in the Philippines, we have people and I've realized that each culture has a different way of operating in that
Yeah.
sense. Number one. And then number two, Kevin, I don't know if you agree with this, but at the end of the day, I think it kind of, with the last thing that you said, when it comes to like the type of culture, like we say toxic or
Yes.
like the communication that you
Yes.
have, is I feel like you have to get people that like especially when you're a small business, whether that's like
Yeah,
1 to 5 million, whatever it may be, like basically if you're doing 0 to 5 million, basically you're considered a small
exactly.
business like that, right?
Yes.
So like you're gonna, as a leader, you're still gonna be involved. Like even when people tell me I'm trying to get out of the day to day, you're
Mhm.
doing like nothing wrong with doing 500,000, but when you're like doing 500,000 and I don't want to be involved in the day to day, it's like, dude, you're gonna have to be involved in the day to day, get your hands dirty, do all of that.
Exactly.
But what I've learned is that the people that are the best in our company are the people that like me as a person. The people that I've
100%.
had resigned, people that have resigned, either they were neutral or they were neutral and then they were like, I really don't like this guy as much. You know what I mean? And the people that
100%.
stayed for a significant long time, they're like, I love this guy. I could talk to him for hours. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you and
Yeah.
I, this is literally our first time connecting in this conversation. And
Mhm.
I'm like, oh my God, he's going to be my buddy for life.
Yeah.
Right? Because I get you, I get your energy. But here's where
Mhm.
we have to hold ourselves accountable as owners. When I
Mhm.
onboard someone, I tell them exactly my personality. I said, listen, hey, I'm from New York. Actually, I'm from
Yeah.
the Northeast. I
Yeah.
said, the only sugarcoating that happens is if I'm building a bakery. There's no bakery here. Okay. So I'm going to be
Mhm.
straight to the point. Now,
Mhm.
sometimes my team says, hey, when you send out that thing on Slack, can you just send like one or two emojis? Because I don't know if you're mad at me or something going down. I'm okay. So now I do emojis. I told my husband I got to do some emojis. I have a list of emojis. So I still send it, but then I'm like, okay, which emoji should I send? And then they're always happy. They're like, oh, emoji
You know
makes
what's
it.
funny? You know what's funny is I had one of the girls on my team say the same thing about me. You know what I mean? She was like she was new on the team, but she feels very comfortable speaking to me about those things. And
Yeah.
she's like, Jonathan, I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't know sometimes if you're like angry or what. And I'm like, oh no, I'm just to the point type of
You're
person.
just a
So for me,
D.
but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Just because it was kind of sweet how she said it, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and use a little bit more emojis in that sense. Then you know what I mean? Especially for some of my
I
guys on the
love
team,
that.
I'm like, okay, I'm not really gonna use emojis as much with my guys because I know they'd be like, Jonathan, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, you don't need to,
It's true.
you don't need to send me the smiley face. But I know my team, right? I know my
I
team.
know
But
my team.
but for some of the girls we have on our team, I know that they're gonna need like that emoji to be like, okay, John is not mad at me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? He's not mad
exactly.
at me. He like
And,
okay, like you
and
know that.
And to your point, you have to know your team. So,
Yeah.
in Interview, we have a director her name is Rebecca. She is amazing, director of success. She came up to me a few weeks ago. She goes, "Hey, I was working with this one person, and they said, I love Coach Kedma, but she's intimidating." And I said, "Okay, so what you're not telling me anything I don't know. Like I know that already. So what are you telling?
Bingo.
What else? Like everybody knows that, but I lead with love.
Uh-huh.
I lead with integrity." And maybe the intimidation is because I just say it like it is.
Bingo. Yeah.
That's all it is. you
Yeah.
know, my husband says I got no filter. Like, Katma, you got to have a filter. You're actually talking to humans. I'm like, I get it. I get
Mm-hmm.
it. So I
Mm-hmm.
like to say I have a heart in my delivery. I always, if I'm going to deliver something hard, like if I have to let someone go, I'm going to say, listen, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
I,
And it
we,
is,
we,
and
and it is
and it is
difficult.
difficult.
And it
It
is
is difficult.
difficult.
As much as people say, because I had to let go of somebody on our team. He had been on our team for the past 3 years, and we wouldn't be where we're at without him. But
Right.
sometimes as you grow, right, you're gonna
Right.
just go ahead and just out people like you don't have to let people go. Your
They go
company's
by
just gonna outgrow
themselves.
them. Yeah, your
Exactly.
company's just gonna outgrow them to where it's like these are the standards that we have now. Because
Yeah,
if we're not evolving as a company, then guess what? We're gonna get left behind.
exactly.
So
It's
it
always with
sucks.
kindness, always with, and even that person I let go, I swear to you, he said, "No, I know you're firing me, but I want to thank you. You're so amazing. I really enjoyed the opportunity." And he was like, "I appreciate you. I loved working here." And I was like, now this is the first time that you can prove, right? Even if you have to do hard things, you can still do it with kindness.
With
Still
grace, you know?
with grace and
And
kindness.
and what ends up happening too is like I had one of the people that I let go, and I was hard on her, right? I was hard on
Mm,
her, and we had to let her
mm.
go, right? Because she just wasn't up to our standard skill wise, you know.
Right,
Like I
speed. Uh-huh.
I hardly ever fire somebody for skill because I'm always like we can always train them up because as you said,
Sure.
character first, right? Because I can't train
Right.
somebody on
Character
like
first.
I can't train somebody on like how to care. I can't train somebody like there's
No.
some things that just aren't worth me training. Like it's not worth
Exactly.
me training
Right.
somebody
Exhausting.
customer service
Mhm.
etiquette. Like, oh, look
Of
the person in
course.
the eye, being like just too. I don't want to train somebody on that, right?
Yes.
But with this person trying to skill them up, they're like, hey, they're like all the stuff that you taught me from this time period, right?
Mhm.
I went ahead and got another job that's perfect for me that get all of this, and I wouldn't have been able to get it without you,
Exactly.
right? And I love those kind of messages. You know what I mean? I love
I
those kind of
love
messages
those.
because they weren't right for us, but they're right for another company in that sense.
I
But
love that.
yes, but yeah,
Now, I
so
want to make sure before I go. So, two things. One is
yes.
um, every friend I have in life was first a stranger.
Hmm.
So, I am hoping that at least one or two or three people hear this and reach out because, again, whoever you surround yourself with, you
Hmm.
become. You
Hmm.
become. So even if you're like, well, I'm not sure, I want to learn more, always open to a conversation because
Hmm.
like today, I'm so tickled pink because I did not know you really well before that and now I'm like you're in my
Yeah,
you're in my
yeah,
ecosystem now.
yeah, yeah. No, that's good. And same thing. Like I knew about you, you know what I mean, in that sense. But it was one of those things that, like I said, I always heard great things about you from
Thank
whether
you.
it's Alonzo,
Yeah,
Brandon, right, Christine,
Fred.
like
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah, like they've always said great things about you. So I was just like, you know what? Like I definitely, and I told Brandon, I was like, when he was gonna make the introduction, I was like, hey man, do you think I can get her? He's like, dude, I'm gonna make the introduction now. Like, so I was
Yeah.
like, perfect,
Great.
perfect, perfect,
Great.
perfect. So where can people find you though then if they want to go ahead and
Um,
reach out to
a
you?
couple places. So ninjava.com. So think ninja. Actually, when I
Mm-hmm.
got the role, I called my husband. I'm like, I don't know. I'm in a dilemma. I've been a superhero my whole life. Now, is a ninja a superhero? He's like, yeah, they're just like, they're in the night ninja. They're next level super.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
Ninja VA, so think ninjava.com. They can definitely work through you. So I always love to honor and respect the people that, get me connected. So definitely through you, I would love to. And then, just find me on Facebook. Like I hang out on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook all the time. Now, don't troll
Mm-hmm.
me. Don't be
Mm-hmm.
like, don't, I got a couple of those that kind of,
Uh-huh.
but just reach out. Like I'm really cool. And I only, my social media is managed by my team for Superb Maid, but for my own personal, I manage it because I want
Mm-hmm.
people to know I'm the real deal. So if you
Mm-hmm.
do reach out on Facebook, it's going to be me responding.
Mm-hmm. All right, then we'll link all of that, in the description. And
Awesome.
like Kedma, like I
Awesome.
said, I know your time was worth $300, right?
That's
So
right.
I appreciate you spending $300 with me today.
Yeah, well, it
You
was
know what I mean?
priceless here because working,
Yes,
it was priceless here. So it was, again, a privilege. And
yes, and
this
that
is,
was a
when we
privilege
talk
having you
about,
on.
yeah, what your time is worth, this was worth my time. This,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
It was a joke, you know what I mean? But it
Yeah,
was,
I get it. I get it. I get
but
it.
but like I said, I appreciate you for being able to
Thank
join
you.
us today in that sense. And then, like I said, if you guys have any questions, concerns, thoughts, or comments
Yeah,
that you guys want to have, leave them in the comments. Whether you're watching on the podcast, whether you're watching on YouTube, and I know Kedma can get those over to
definitely.
her as well, and she can go ahead and answer that. And also, if you want to go reach out to her, I'll put her Facebook profile link there. I'll also
Yeah.
put Ninja VA in there so that you guys can go ahead and reach out to them, even if you need VAs as well. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So,
Yeah.
so yeah. Well, thank you once again, Kedma. Like I
Thank
said, and it
you.
was a pleasure having you. And thank you all for watching as well. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye, everyone.